Life for All presents Daily Food Series, Galatians, the Only Gospel, the Gospel of Christ. Title of Book 2, The Hearing of Faith, by Pedro. Week 3, The Works of the Law, or the Hearing of Faith. Sunday, Giving Freedom to the Spirit. Read with prayer. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, in the breaking of bread and in prayers. Then fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done through the apostles. Acts chapter 2, verses 42 and 43. At the end of yesterday's reading, we realized the importance of living in the sphere of faith. For in this sphere, God granted the Spirit and worked miracles through the apostles. Therefore, we are admonished to remain in the model of verse 42 of the second chapter of Acts. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship. We need to persevere in the fellowship of the apostles' teachings and in the fellowship of the Word. We trust that the Word we receive and that is instilled in our hearts gives us power in the Spirit to do God's work in our midst. We must not return to relying on the flesh, on our personal ability in an attempt to do God's work. Even if we have been serving the Lord for years, we need to depend on the Spirit. We must never have the arrogant attitude of thinking that we are self-sufficient because we have been performing a function for a long time. We need to continue depending on the Lord. Even when ministering the word like this, it is good to still feel, quote-unquote, butterflies in our stomach, so as not to depend on our own ability and experience. In order for God to give us the Spirit, we need to be in the right condition, to have the hearing of faith with a simple heart that loves and trembles at His word. If we are in this condition, God will give us His Spirit, who is capable of performing miracles. However, if we all return to the practice of the law, that is, having a church life based on our own effort, ability, and experience, what has happened in the past will happen again among us. We will return to a life of hierarchy, competition, and disputing, as happened with Diotrephes in the end of the first century, because of the love of preeminence and the pursuit of positions in the church and the struggle for followers. These are elements of division in the church, and they paralyze the Spirit's work. We do not want to paralyze this work. Let us continue to give freedom to the Spirit by maintaining our simplicity, trusting in the Word, and remaining in the faith. Thus, this Word, upon being inculcated in us, will enable the Spirit to operate to accomplish His work with miracles, wonders, and signs. What a privilege it is to once again experience the days of signs and wonders among us. 2019, during the inauguration of the last Christian Expo we participated in, the pastor responsible for ministering the word said, "Unfortunately today, we do not see among us the signs, wonders, and miracles common at the beginning of the book of the Acts of the Apostles. However, thanks be to God, these signs have returned." What a blessing it is to live in these days. I believe that the Lord will restore things among us, and everything will return to how it was at the beginning of the church in Jerusalem, according to the pattern of verses 42 through 46 of the second chapter of Acts. With the walls already closed and the doors in place, God is restoring us and putting in order all the services and offerings. Thus, he will again have the church as an instrument for the Spirit to perform miracles and to do God's work until his return. That is the burden we have for this week. Jesus is Lord.